Judges from Honduras and Guatemala presented a comparative analysis that showed that in the last 3 years in both countries, new laws have been approved to capture and imprison citizens that protest for different reasons. Here is a special report by teleSUR's Gerardo Torres.
Decriminalization of protests has been used by government to attempt to silence criticism against their actions and policies. This comes according to several lawyers and judges from Guatemala and Honduras in the last 3 years after both countries have approved new laws to criminalize the protest.
We have identified through this study that there is a state policy in Guatemala and Honduras to criminalize the social protest that has been accompanied with a big number of penal reforms that look to stop or inhibit the right of freedom of speech that is part of the protest.
Campesinos have been imprisoned for demanding the right to the land. Students are currently on trial for protesting against the privatization of education. And political organizations and activists have been accused of being subversive, conspirators, or even terrorists. This is part of the current realities of both countries.
People continue in the social protest, but because of the state's repression and the measures that they are using, they have to retreat, and there is a point where the protesters have to defend themselves in the tribunals. And this affects them and their families. It affects all around the community leader. But the good thing is that we still see people in resistance. They continue demanding from their state a change in policy.
But the people's drive to protest has not stopped because of the criminalization of their actions, but created even more confrontation between government and the people, and without a change in the policy of the government, people's claims and pressure actions will continue. Gerardo Torres, teleSUR, Central America.